episode 97 of Comics and Us. I'm TJ.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Lumpy.
I think Chris forgot the intro there.
I was going to say, he always pauses, but that one was longer.
See, I didn't think I paused. That's weird.
No, you paused. Anyway, this is the review show that reviews comics chronologically, kind of. We're going into our last hiatus episode today. It's my pick, and I goes Fables number 1. So that's what we're covering. It was written by Bill Willingham? Yeah. Penciled by Lon Medina, inked by Steve, that is a weird name, Leoloa? Ooh.
Sure.
Oh.
He's Hawaiian.
I don't know, this next one's even worse. The colorist is Sherlin Van Valkenburg Zilo? Huh?
These sound like they're from Star Trek or something. I think you're making
I was going to say, I don't even see that one on my end, so.
That's who the color was, apparently. The letterer was Todd Klein, the executive editor was Mariah Heuer, and the editor was Shelley Baum. This comic was released in July 2002, and that's it. Anything to say? Okay.
No, not yet.
Alright.
I have a lot to say, but not on any of that.
Alright, so Fables is technically, I guess it's a DC comic nowadays because they're released on the DC banner, but back then it was a Vertigo comic. I'm sure we talked about Vertigo at some point. They did Hellblazer and Swamp Thing and Sandman and all this.
Did talk about it.
I'd say I know we talked about Swamp Thing, so we've had to have talked about it, so.
Yeah, so those are, let's move on to one of the two covers. Who wants to do the first one?
Are they two separate covers? Like you came out with two different covers?
I have no idea.
Or?
I'm reading the digital version and both covers are there, so we're covering both of them.
I was just say, even weird. In my DC Comics online and on the website one, it's both. So I'm guessing either it was like an outside cover and an inside cover, like almost like a splash page, or it was released two different times. I don't know which one it was.
Or the first one's like a hardcover and the other one's like the regular.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're all speculating what it is, but we don't know. That's good for podcasts.
None of us have a physical copy.
Yeah, and like I said, even on the DC app itself, like the actual copy from DC, they have it exactly the same exact way. They have both comic covers. So I have no idea. And they have the same date on them and everything. I can't tell you anything different than that.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is that the more artistic one in the first one is the style that's for further comics and stuff. So,
okay.
The second one,
like the very first the stylized one, the first one, is like it's in the same style. The other cover is coming up in the other.
I don't like that one. The first cover, I don't like that one.
All right, I'll cover the first one, then I'll let you cover the second one.
Yeah, hold on, before you do, I think it says in the cover Legends in Exile at the top of the credits. I think that's the name of this story, so.
Legends in Exile.
Yeah, because we're just gonna go with that. God, now you may cover the cover.
So, it says Vertigo, issue 1, lists the writers, Legends in Exile. Suggested for mature readers. Was released July 2002. Fables. There is a guy coming out of a zipper on a wolf suit. Mm-hmm. Behind him is a girl sitting, who I think she's sitting on a tree with an apple. Mm-hmm. She has dark hair and like a white gown on. There is a pig in the tree. Nestled in the tree behind her. There is like almost a tree of life coming up behind her. There's a monkey up on the left-hand side. There's a guy in the background who is Little Boy Blue playing his, what is that? Trumpet. And then there's also another guy who's peeking out, as you can see his one half of his face peeking out from behind the tree.
Some of these characters we don't meet in this issue, so.
No, you don't. And then far in the background is the New York skyline.
Yep.
Well drawn. I actually enjoyed it myself. I like the style that it's drawn in. There's no real defined lines. It's kind of like...
It looks like it's painted. It looks like it's painted. Yeah, it's watercolored almost.
Yes.
It's a little sloppy. I don't know. I'm not really into this one. Like, some of the one guy that's peeking around, he looks cool. But, like, her face looks distorted almost. And I don't like that guy coming out of the wolf at all.
I think it's supposed to be like in like a design from like actual ancient fairy tales designs and stuff like that.
It looks like a design like maybe a 5-year-old drew it. That's what it looks like to me.
No, that's a little harsh.
It doesn't look... I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It looks sloppy. It looks sloppy to me. Like, even the watercolor looks like they just took the brush and threw it on there.
Yeah, and I like that style of almost like melting. Like, I like that painting style for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not getting that. I'm getting, like, you threw your brush down on a paper and just swirled it around. I don't know. On the one side where Little Boy Blue is, it looks like a mess.
Yeah, it almost looks like there's a figure in front of him, like angel style.
It looks like, it actually looks like it's got a texture to it almost.
Yes, I like it.
I like that one better.
I have no opinion either way, honestly. It's
when
fine.
I popped this up and this picture came up, I'm like, oh crap, what's he got me reading now? That's exactly what I thought. Yeah.
All right.
And then you read it and realized, oh crap, what does he have me reading?
No, but you know what I did think? I feel like every time it's his turn, he picks something that has to do with fairy tales. Didn't you do this twice before?
Did it once before.
Yeah, the one with the ladies.
Yeah, that was Grimm Fairy Tales. That was a different publisher.
This looks better.
I actually don't remember what my other choice was.
I don't know, but I like this one better than that Grimm one that you picked.
Yeah. This one's much better all around. This one you didn't need a few issues to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, they jump right in. You're pretty good with that. You can follow it pretty easily.
All right.
Really?
You didn't get that?
Not at all. Not
really
even a little.
Well.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into that. On to the second cover. Go ahead, Uncle Chris.
The second cover I did like. It just says Fables across the top in orange, and the background of the city looks really cool. Like it's still got like a stylized thing to it, but it's more detailed, I guess. It's not, and then the birds flying above where it says Fables, and then there's a guy standing there smoking a cigarette. It's almost in black and white, but his lighter or match is red. Or orange, like bright. Yeah.
Because it's all like dark blue and stuff.
Right, it's blue and gray almost. Her lips are pink. There's a woman standing here with her hand looks like it's over her heart. And she's also in like drab colors, but she got pink lips. And she's holding a lizard, and the lizard is yellow striped. She's got a watch on. It's got a little bit of color to it. And then down here on the bottom, there's a wolf, and his eyes are glowing red, but he's also very drab. And on the bottom, there's a monkey with wings, and it's got an apple in its hand. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool the way they did that.
And I actually think it looks like somebody scribbled all over the page. And,
See,
and it might not be a wolf. It could be a dog. There's no real definition other than the red eyes. And I'll be honest, the monkey with the wings, it's like it's just blacked out. It's barely a monkey with wings.
Oh, really? I said it looks very clear on mine.
In my mind, it just kind of looks scribbly.
Huh.
Wow, two different opinions.
Yes.
He's got the same opinion I had about the other one.
That's what I'm saying. It was just total different art styles. That's all it is. And you like one and I like the other, I guess.
I like the detail. I don't like when they just throw shit together. Like, I like a little detail.
It almost looks like you say scratch in the background and stuff, Lumpy. It almost looks like New York's falling apart behind them.
And I can see
like it's crumbling.
So actually, the detail in the very background of the city is done well. It's actually the up-close stuff that I think is sloppy and kind of... Like, in my personal opinion, I feel like the up-close stuff is lazier. It's like just not... Like, they focused everything on that background.
Her face, to me, has a lot of detail and a lot of shading to it. His is kind of scribbly, but I like that.
And her face and his face, so, like, almost from the midpoint up, is done detailed, and then as you get fade towards the bottom is what my bigger issue is. Closer to you seems just like lazier.
All right, art critics, are we done with the covers?
Yeah. It's been a while since we podcast, so we're going with we're hitting every button.
Okay, so once upon a time in the fictional land of New York is how we open up this story, as a taxi is speeding across, and a man gets out of the taxi and runs into this building, the Woodward Luxury Apartments. This is Jack Horner, if anyone is familiar. Yeah, for those
I thought it was Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk.
No.
So did I.
Horner.
Because they even said, Jack, you climbed the beanstalk later.
Well...
And I think it was a joke.
Oh.
His name is Jack Horner. I think what they did is they combined all the Jacks into one character.
Oh.
Okay.
So he's Jack Skellington too?
Yes.
Yeah. Jack
everything.
Niehoff? Jack
Yes.
Niehoff.
So, like, you're not going to come across 30 different Jacks in the story, essentially.
Jack and Jill? Is he Jack and Jill too?
I think so, actually, yeah. Because everything in this has a dark twist to it.
Yeah.
So, like, if I remember correctly, Jill fell down the hill and died or something in this story. Yeah.
If I remember right, because I have actually read this, and yeah, I think so too, as you get further into these.
Yeah, it's like
comics.
She fell down a well and died or some crap like that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he rushes in and passes this, like, door guy and past the janitor. They're characters later. We really don't need to get into them now. And he runs past the offices of Snow White and into the security office of Big B Wolf. You get it?
Big bad wolf.
So, Big B is the Big Bad Wolf, obviously, and he is... Alright, so I'm going to back up a little bit because we're going to have to explain the premise here.
Well, so here's my problem. You can't explain the premise, which was actually my point in this. You don't have anything when you read this.
No,
not right away, no.
You get it through the dialogue, but...
You do?
Yeah, you get it through the dialogue as they're explaining different things about the world and why they're here and stuff. It's supposed to be built up more as a mystery for a lot of this stuff too, like why they're here and stuff. It's more of a like these first few books feel more noir than anything else, as with him trying to figure out the things that are happening. And I think you're supposed to be figuring out the crime and the mystery what's going on with them and stuff, but. They don't outright explain things, but they do, like, hint at it and, like, give you different things as dialogue's happening and stuff. So, essentially, what happened is... Alright, I'm trying to decide how far...
I'm trying to let you do this, because I'll be honest, from this comic, I didn't get any of that.
I only read this one, so I don't know any of the further on stuff at all.
Well, and that's why I'm trying to be totally objective to just this comic. Because I know that I know more, but I'm telling you, this comic that I read here...
Well, that's my whole point. That's what I'm trying to figure out, is how far into it I want to dive in, because I've read the entire series.
I think I've read a lot. I don't know if I've read the entire series, but I've read a lot.
There's 150 issues of the original series, and they just started releasing more recently.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But, like, essentially, so I'm just going to say this. The fairy tales moved from their world to New York for reasons, and they're and they're keeping the fact that they are fairy tales secret from what they call Mundies. Is it Mundies in this?
I think so, like the mundane people who.
Yeah, but
I'm
just wondering if that's this or if that's a Harry Potter term.
No, Harry Potters are Muggles.
Oh, Muggles. All right, yeah, okay. Mundane, they're Mundies. They're Mundies. Yeah. Okay.
And they do call them that in this comic.
Yeah, I know. That's like, I just couldn't figure out which one it was, though.
Although they don't give you context for it.
No, not in this issue. But you can surmise from the word Bundy, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, so Jack runs up to Bigby, and they quip at each other about, you know, him being the big bad wolf, he being, you know, climbing beanstalks, like you said. But anything, he says a terrible thing has happened. But before we find out what it is, we cut over to the business offices of Snow White, where Beauty and Beast are talking to Snow White. And Beast is having issues because his horns and his teeth are, like, beast-like at this moment. And
it's annoying. Just so you know, it's friggin' annoying. I stopped reading his dialogue. It was that bad. I can't even stand it. I can't even stand the way it was written. It was driving me bananas.
Yeah, and actually, to be honest, it's almost unreadable. Like, you have to read the other bubbles to actually figure out what he said.
Yeah.
Is how bad they made it.
And I'm like, I'm not even reading that anymore, because it's stupid. It's not written good at all.
It was bad. That was rough.
Yeah, I couldn't take it. I really couldn't take it. I'm not complaining about the comic. I didn't really hate the comic, but his dialogue, I couldn't wait till they were done, because I had no idea what he was saying.
Well, I think they did their job then. Because I think
you're supposed to be able to decipher it, but I needed like a decoder or something to figure out what the hell he was saying.
I didn't have any problem with it, but okay.
Oh, God. But anyway. I liked her in her little nightgown with her boobs hanging out, so it was kind of cool.
Yes. Belle is very provocative in this.
Yes, she is.
Yes. I mean, most of the female characters are in this.
Yeah, they seem that they're drawn like that.
Anyway, they're having marital issues, and it's causing Beast to turn back into a beast, which is the gist of the dialogue here. And Snow White's like, okay, you gotta get it under control or buy a glamour, because apparently you need to buy glamours to hide your identity, or else you have to go to this magical place called the farm where they keep all the fables that are...
They can't hide in plain sight.
Yeah, they can't hide. So
they say they can't afford the glamour, but then she says we're all having trouble, and then they back up and show her office, which is huge.
Yeah, but it's not her office.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh, no, it's the guy. Okay, the other.
Yeah, she's just acting because the actual mayor has disappeared.
Ah.
She's kind of a bitch, and so is Belle.
Yeah, they're both a little bitchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say anything with Belle, but yeah, once you find out Snow's dark backstory, you might understand.
But I'll be honest, even at the beginning, though, you can kind of tell that the two guys in the beginning, and I get it, it's a little noir, because they're kind of assholes right off the bat. Like, and I think that's the way they're writing these characters in this comic right now.
Right. Yeah, everybody's a little angry. It's like everybody's got shaken up, like they're not used to this already.
Everybody's going through some shit. Let's just say that.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Yeah.
But yeah, so essentially she's like, you need to get a glamour, and apparently you have to pay for... everyone's kind of... Some of the fables are poor, some of them are rich, some of them got to bring their fortune, some of them didn't, so some can afford these things from the... I don't know why it's not a public service, it's the glamour people.
Right, if you gotta hide ananyway, then they shouldn't have to pay for it, right?
Yeah, but I guess they're in New York, capitalism, so...
yeah.
But that's the gist of that whole thing. And they're like, we can't afford to do it. And she's like, well, figure it out, or you're going to the farm. And they're like, we'll figure something out. And then, yeah, they show the office. Anyway, someone wanted to describe the office, because it is so...
Well, when they show the office in the background, there's a giant, like, the Tree of Life thing, but there's people hanging from it. Do you see the guy hanging from the tree? All the way in the back?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
and I actually, to be honest, didn't even notice that.
I just noticed it. It's crazy looking.
I actually still don't see it.
If you look straight at the tree, right where the bottom of the door is, there's a circle, and there's a guy hanging in the middle of the tree.
And the tree in the background?
Yeah, so to the right of the sword, do you see the sword?
Yes.
To the right of the sword, about
the handle. Yeah.
Yep.
The sword on the left. Do you see the sword on the left in the door jamb? Leaning against the door jamb?
Okay, that sword.
Then just go to the right. It's right at the handle.
Oh, okay, now I see it.
Wow,
I'm just going to send you a picture of that.
I was looking at the sword that was kind of in the stone.
You were going to the right of that one.
What I do like about their artwork is it looks like you could come back to the page and find other details that you never saw before.
Yeah,
like I like this pirate ship up here.
Yes.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And I'm sure it all has significance. It probably is the sword in the stone, and that's probably like Captain Hook's ship or something. You know, well,
I'm assuming it is because it's floating.
Yeah.
Or that could be... Nah, it might be Captain Hook.
I don't know. Anyway. I think it's cool. I do like the artwork.
It is.
I'm just thinking maybe that hanged person's the hanged man, because I think that's a fable too.
I don't know. Looks like King Neptune down in the front here, all the way up, like right in front of us.
Or Triton.
Poseidon, one of them.
Yeah.
Flying Monkey, are they the Wizard of Oz flying monkeys? Is that why they keep referencing them?
I think so. Because flying monkeys are, like, actually in this, so...
Yeah, they seem to be
there is a flying monkey in here. Flying...
Right.
In the next panel, a flying monkey's actually coming to give a guy a book.
Yeah, he's bringing a book over.
Anyway, yeah, so that was that. Moving on. Skip over the conversation, because I pretty much...
I mean, we can read the conversation, but not the beasts, because he doesn't say anything. He just goes garbledy, garble.
Oh, and by the way, Little Boy Blue is Snow White's assistant.
Is that who I see him sitting back there at his own desk behind her, but I didn't know what it was.
All right. So as Beast and Belle leave, Bigby comes up and says he's got to talk to Snow for whatever Jack wanted. Meanwhile, we cut over to a restaurant where Prince Charming is eating.
You missed a detail here. They leave because she mentions the dwarves, and it pisses Snow White off to no end. Outside in the hallway, he says, "Don't mention the dwarves."
Do you want a spoiler for later?
I mean, it's like, I'm not going to go any further, so yeah, sure.
Well, this tale in this Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is the dwarves took Snow White in and then pretty much raped her.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, they kept using her over and over and over.
Oh, God.
Over. Yeah.
Okay.
So, she doesn't like the dwarves.
Yeah, I got you. So moving on
Prince
from that
Charming is her ex-husband.
And Prince Charming is her ex-husband.
Okay,
yes.
I was confused at first, but yes, okay.
So, we cut over to a steakhouse where Prince Charming is eating steak, and he's kind of flirting with the waitress.
Okay.
And it's a very fancy place, and he's flirting with her and convinces her that, she can pay for his food because he doesn't have any money. And then he leaves with her. And yeah, that's essentially that one.
Yeah.
I'm going over a lot of panels because there's a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
But
but you're covering it. I mean, you're not really missing anything.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm kind of like just stumbling here because I'm scrolling down a little bit. But it's not like reading 40s dialogue either. It's all kind of necessary too to establish the world.
Yeah, there's stories in the dialogue, definitely.
So anyway, back to the Fables place. Bigby's talking to Snow and says he's got some bad news. It's about your sister, Rose Red, and she's gone missing. And there's been a possible victim of violence. And they're like, oh, and she's like, oh, great. Then we get a little backstory about her sister. How her sister is kind of like a
party
partier.
Yeah. She just likes to party. She likes to have a good time, but she's always partying, basically.
Right.
And so Bigby's going to go investigate, and she's like, I'm coming with you, and she's, no matter what you say, and then they're off. Then we cut over to the waitress's apartment where Chavez is having sex with her, while two girls are listening to them on the other side of the wall.
Okay, that's what's going on. I wasn't sure what they were doing.
I saw that, but I never really caught on to exactly
I guess they're her
was,
kids or something?
I don't know. I just...
he does say that he's he had to get he believes a truly accomplished nobleman should hone his coxmanship every bit as much as his swordsmanship. He does say that. That was a funny line.
Yep. So that happens, and then we cut over to the place. Snow White and Bigby are in a cab, and they get to the
I feel like everybody in this is using the same exact cab driver. Like, the guy's an asshole. Or
I think
is it
that's
just
the whole,
saying that all
New York cab drivers are assholes.
Yeah, I think they're just saying every cab driver.
Yeah, I think that's what the story is there. Because I don't think there's a special cab driver that they use or anything.
Right. But the other guy got mad because he didn't tip him. And now this guy's like, oh, yeah, thanks. Now my mom can get that kidney operation for your change.
Anyway, so they go up this apartment building, and Bigby Shadow is that of a wolf, just in case you weren't sure. Oh, yeah. I forgot. He sent Jack ahead to guard the place to make sure no one entered. Yes. Yeah. And Jack's sitting there. He opens the door, and they walk in to a bloodbath, essentially. There's blood everywhere.
Yeah. I didn't expect it to be that bad when they were talking about it. It's even the door is running through blood when you open the door up and close it.
Yeah, and it says no more happily ever afters on the wall.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a giant panel of a bloody scene with no body, though.
Right. The sofa's cut open. There's cushions everywhere. There's blood everywhere.
Bigby tells them to wait outside as he goes in and investigates. And
does he rip the lock off the refrigerator, or does he find it ripped off the refrigerator?
I think he finds it ripped off and figures out where it went because he goes,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he's investigated and going through things like this is 2002, so the CDs everywhere, and he's going through the drawers, finds as you said, the lock broken off of the refrigerator, and he comes out and he says, "All right, Jack, I'm taking you in," because he's the prime suspect at this point. So Jack gets mad, throws a punch. He subdues him, and he says,
"Shut up before I think of any other charges to stack against you."
Yes, and he's accusing Bigby of abusing his authority. And we end on that. And that's it.
That was it.
Yeah. Yep. The way it ends is now I feel like I have to read the next one, but I probably won't. But I didn't mind it. I thought it was decent. I liked it better than the Grimm one, definitely.
So when I reread it this time, I was actually a little more disappointed. Like,
Really?
but last time I had read it and moved on. So like when you just read, like if you got this comic book back when it came out in '02 and you had to wait for the next one to come out, I don't know that I would have. That was my issue. It's like, what? I mean, I want to know what happened, but at the same time, you didn't give me anything here. Like, what am I? I don't even know what I'm waiting for.
Right.
That's fair, because like I did the same thing. I read the first issue and moved on, and
that's the thing. I loved it enough that I read it more, but
and like when the second issue, when Bigby's in his apartment and he has one of the three little pigs in his apartment smoking cigarettes, it's like
it's good. Like if you read on, it actually is a very good comic. But I was trying to be more objective. Like if I just reviewed this comic, I don't know that I'd be sold to be like, keep going, and wait for the next one to come out.
Except that's fair, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to be objective like that these days, since everything is at your fingertips. If someone just found this today,
and it can read all of them,
you would read them all, which is what I did.
Right. So it's like, sure, back in 2002, that's fair, but now everything's kind of be judged on a different standard these days too.
I'm curious of how popular this was in 2002.
This series was really popular.
Yeah, which is crazy to me, because again, if I had read this in '02, I would have been pissed to have to wait for the next issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that.
But,
definitely see it.
But I did actually really enjoy, if I had waited and actually read the next one, I would have been hooked to do it too,
This series is so popular. I read a story once that a couple broke up and they sued each other over ownership of the comic books.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Impressive.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
again, knowing what I know after this comic, it's worth the read. Like, it is actually really good. It gets really in depth. There's a lot going on, and it's really well done.
Yeah, I agree. It is. It's a great series. It gets a little weird.
It does, but I like the weird. I don't mind the weird, but this comic doesn't necessarily do it justice. Is what I'm trying to say is, if anybody picked this up and just read this, don't judge it by this one. Go on, because you will enjoy it.
And like most of it does take place in New York, but it doesn't stay stationed in New York.
No, there's even things that they make up in New York that are kind of cool too. Like they do some stuff I think in Central Park, if I remember, and then there's like more forest involved.
Yeah.
So,
and eventually it does drop the whole noir thing and goes into a straight up like fantasy kind of fairy tale.
Yes.
So,
yes, it does.
But this is one of the better series that I read, so I wanted to spotlight it, and so here we are.
I actually really agree with you. It was good. The series is really good. Right. Again, this first comic, I had a little bit of trouble when I read it, but
it drew me in a little. Like,
and to be fair, not a lot happens in the first comic. There's a lot of explanation going on.
Yeah, they're building a world.
It's story building.
They're leaving you with, but they're also leaving you with a lot of open-ended stuff. Like knowing, like you got to read the next one, or else you're never going to find out 25 different things that they left open in this comic.
There's a ton of things in the one. Yeah,
right. So, when I'm going over it, there was like whole pages that I skipped because I summed it up in 3 sentences when it took them 4 pages to get across the dialogue. Which isn't bad because, like I said, we're building character and stuff like that and establishing personalities and everything. But like that's exactly all it was. That's all that's happening in that scene.
That's it. Right. A whole page was basically they walked out of the room. Right. But you see stuff in it which you explained. So.
Yeah, the detail and the drawings are draw you into.
Yes, I agree.
And it does. This is a visual storytelling mechanism. Like when they're walking up to the apartment to where the crime scene is, seeing Bigby's shadow as a wolf and stuff like that is more storytelling.
Yes. Yeah, character building, storytelling. It's good. It's honestly, I recommend the series itself because it's really, really good. It's worth a read.
I'm going to guess that Uncle Chris doesn't have a thing with people in it or nothing, so I guess that's it.
Oh, thing
Yep.
with people in it. What's a thing with people? I don't know what you're talking
You
about.
know, you go after every Batman, you say, this one had Batman, Robin.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't have that. I thought you meant the joke. That's what I thought you meant. I'm like,
No, the
I don't know what
joke,
he's talking about.
I know you have the joke.
We had Belle, we had Beast, we had Snow White, we had Bigby, we had Jack.
Who else? A flying monkey.
Little Boy Blue.
I honestly forgot to even look that up, to be honest.
I figured.
So do you know why Cinderella was so bad at basketball?
Why?
Because her coach was a pumpkin. Wait, also, she keeps running away from the ball. Come on, they're good. I had to stop you because I thought you were going to cut me off. I
had coach was a pumpkin. I didn't quite get. It took me a second to actually put it together.
And I'm like, wait, don't cut me off yet.
I'm like, why was her coach a pumpkin? I don't understand. I get it.
My finger was hovering over the stop button, too.
I know it. That's why I was like, wait. Also, she keeps running away from the ball. Come on, that's a good one.
Except Cinderella wasn't even in this one, but okay.
It's a fairy tale. Who cares?
She shows up in the second issue.
I figured. She's got to show up. Who else? They got to have her on there.
I think she's a spy in this issue, in the series. Really? Yeah. Anyway, we're done.
I'm also confused because I thought Prince Charming was her prince, but...
No. Well, you know what I think it is? And I can't... And I'm not 100% on this, but I think they combined the princes together and he was both of their ex.
It's definitely possible because he looks like Prince Eric, who is the prince from Little Mermaid.
No Mermaid.
Oh. Well, I don't know who Snow White
Who was the prince? Wasn't Snow White's Prince Charming? I thought Prince White was Prince Charming too.
Well, Prince Charming is definitely Cinderella.
Right, and I think it was Snow White too. Because I don't think... It's
possible.
Or he didn't have a name. That's possible, too.
Yeah, I'm looking. Prince Charming's...
Who is Snow White's prince? It says Snow White's prince is Prince.
Yeah, so they probably
It's referred to as just the prince.
Yeah, because Prince Charming, named Prince Charming, is named in Cinderella, not in Snow White.
Right. So what I think they...
He could be named Prince Ferdinand, or also known as Florian.
I think they combined the two princes together, and I think he was both of their exes.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah,
he's getting around. Well, he picks up girls pretty easy.
Yeah,
he does.
He is Prince Charming.
He is Prince Charming.
All right.
That's all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.